How's it going? How's everybody doing? Essential Notes, back to bring you another review, or I'm gonna stop calling them reviews. Basically, I'm just gonna be talking about fragrances I love. These are my thoughts on them. Anyways, today we're gonna be covering Manjo Bee, and this is from a brand called d.grayi, and I think it's D dot and then Grayi. I think this brand was launched in 2022, and then this particular fragrance was launched in 2023. Shout out to Elroy Prepson for putting this brand on my radar. Not only that, but he blessed me with samples of a lot of their fragrances. I think I tried maybe most of them. There's maybe a few that I haven't. But big shout out to him, man. And this is a brand, they're a super cool brand. They all come, let me see if I don't have them here. Oh yeah, I do, hold on, right here. So they come in these little like cigarette boxes. And then they pack them full of fragrances. And then they each have like a little Pokemon card style thing that comes with each fragrance. That's so super dope, dude. Who's doing that? Like, who does that? That's so unique. I love it. The brand was started by, I think his name is Kale Jeong and James Nguyen. And so they kind of put their heads together and created a kick-ass brand. And anyways, we're gonna be discussing this fragrance. So after exploring tons of their fragrances, this isn't the only one that I liked, but this was the most interesting one, hands down, in my opinion. I smelled it and I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And that's the kind of fragrances I love. Like, I love like when I'm like almost taken aback by something. Like when I try to dissect it and there's no words, and then you just spend time with it and you keep like approaching it. It's like kind of like a chick that you find that's really fascinating, and she's not just pretty. Like, you want to get into her mind and understand like all the facets of her, and I feel like that's a little bit like fragrance for me. So anyways, I'm gonna jump into this one. I'm kind of like, I'm gonna need a bigger bottle of this. I don't buy big bottles, so I usually buy, actually I've started buying a lot of 10 mLs now, because dude, I just got a big collection, and if I think it's worth buying, I'll buy a 10 ml, and then like this, without a doubt, like I'm gonna end up buying a full bottle of this at some point. So anyways, into the fragrance. So this opens up. First of all, the first thing that comes to mind is golden. Like, if you can think of golden hour, that's the best time to shoot. Like when you're doing film and video and photography, it's the best time of the day to shoot. It's like the sun is going down, everything is like perfectly lit. That is what this fragrance is, basically. And so it opens up with this floral, I would say a floral punch. But what it reminds me of is back in the 90s, I would go into stores like Pier 1 Imports, and they would have potpourri or scented kind of decorative balls and stuff. And this has that like essence. It has this kind of dried floral scent that you get a wave of it initially, and it catches you off guard. And I don't know, maybe it wouldn't do that for people nowadays, but for me, it caught me off guard in a wonderful way. Like, I was kind of blindsided by it. Really, really love it. Oh, you saw the sprayer anyways. The atomizer is good. It's legit. These are cool. I think these bottles are like 15 ml. Love them. Small. Back to the scent. Sorry, I'm pretty stoked. I just like this scent a lot. So you have those elements going on. Then you have kind of that's all you get. You get a blast. And I think it's marigold. They have marigold listed as one of the ingredients, and I'm pretty sure it's marigold that's kind of making that initial blast. And then the marigold just slowly simmers down. And as that happens, you get this, it's funny because like the yuzu and all the citrus usually is at the top, but it feels to me like the marigold is at the top. It settles and then it reveals the citrus, which is yuzu, and then there's a tea note as well, or a tea accord that's right at the top. And so how that kind of settles in my mind, like I'll share how it works for me, is if we had like a layer of marigold that had just was up high and it kind of settles, and then you took this beautiful stencil, and to me in my mind I think of this ornate floral stencil, and you trace over the marigold. That's kind of what it is. It's an olfactive stencil of yuzu and tea that kind of just leaves this pretty imprint over the top of the marigold. And then as that kind of sits, that kind of stays in that state for quite a while. And then it's almost like the tea seeps through, and then underneath the marigold, as the marigold seems to go away, there seems to be another layer of tea there. And that tea gets infused with like beeswax, osmanthus. Let me pull up kind of what some of the other notes are real quick. Actually, I'll just read the notes. The notes are interesting too. So at the top you have marigold, yuzu, tea leaves. Then in the heart you have beeswax, osmanthus, and then you have propolis tincture, tonka, and civet in the base, and they also say you have hinoki in the heart. So I don't get it like that, but so anyways, you have that layer of tea that sits underneath the marigold. Once the marigold kind of starts dissipating and going away, you have it's tea infused with beeswax, osmanthus, and then to me I get the propolis. So propolis is often it smells like leaves, but like fallen leaves from what I understand. I may be wrong, and that's just how I understand, because I was blown away by this note in another fragrance. So I had to ask and people would get back to me. Anyways, that's how they described it to me, so that's how I understand it. If I'm wrong, please leave some comments below. I'd love to educate myself. I don't claim to know at all by any means. I only know what I've inquired about and people have told me. And then that is my truth until I get educated some more, and my truth is ever evolving, so there you go. And then I don't get the hinoki in the heart. I don't get the hinoki until the base. But basically, so you get the infusion, the tea infused with propolis, osmanthus, and beeswax. And like I said, propolis is that, I get this golden kind of fall leaf that, that would come off a tree in fall time, a leafiness. And then it feels like as it goes to the dry down, you get the hinoki base, but the hinoki base is seasoned with tonka and civet. And it just creates this maturity. Again, I use that word a lot, but I think that's one thing I think civet does in fragrance, is it elevates it to a grown-up's fragrance. And I just find that like it's a real maturity and a little dirty. It's a little dirty, and that's what I like. I like a little bit of dirty in my fragrance. If you guys know me, or if you don't know me, you'll learn that I appreciate a pinch of dirtiness, whether it's coming from oud or civet or some musk or like deer musk or whatever it may be. Muskrat, I've tried some stuff with muskrat, skunk. So I'm not afraid of a little bit of skunk or civet in this case. But anyways, it's a beautiful, beautiful golden fragrance. If you guys haven't tried the brand d.grayi, I highly recommend you getting your nose on some of their samples and have that one, Manjo Bee, thrown in there. Check it out. If you guys could, I would greatly appreciate it if you could comment, like, subscribe. I'm a new channel. I think I'm up to 6 subscribers now. So just a big thank you to the 6. And so I just want a little bit of a flex, 6 subscribers. So anyways, love chatting about fragrances, and until next time.